The Last Guest, a haunting in the Appalachians. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains stood the Weatherford Hotel, a once grand building that had seen better days. Built in the early 1900s, it had been a bustling retreat for the wealthy, offering opulent ballrooms with crystal chandeliers, lavish gardens where peacocks strutted, and a reputation for impeccable service. But as the years passed, the hotel's glory faded. The once lavish ballrooms fell silent, the chandeliers dimmed, and the peacocks that had strutted across the lawns vanished. By the 1970s, the hotel had closed its doors, left to the mercy of time and the elements. But in the small town of Blackwood, where the hotel loomed like a dark sentinel on the outskirts, legends grew. Locals whispered that the hotel was cursed, that the spirits of those who had died within its walls still wandered the corridors. The most persistent tale was that of room 309, where a young bride had thrown herself from the window on her wedding night after discovering her husband's betrayal. Her screams, they said, could still be heard on moonless nights. Children grew up fearing the hotel, and adults avoided it after dark, sensing the weight of history and tragedy that hung in the air. In the fall of 2019, a group of 5 college friends decided to explore the abandoned hotel. Mia, the self-proclaimed leader with a knack for organization, had heard the legends and thought it would make for an exciting adventure. Jake, the skeptic who loves debunking paranormal claims, was eager to prove that there was a logical explanation for everything. Sarah, the photography enthusiast, saw it as an opportunity to capture the eerie atmosphere and add to her portfolio. Tyler, the jokester who always lightened every mood, was along for the thrill and the chance to tell wild stories later. Liam, the quiet one with a fascination for the supernatural, completed the group. They gathered at the town's edge, their car parked under the dim glow of a flickering street lamp. The hotel stood in the distance, its silhouette stark against the night sky. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and decay. Mia held up her phone, its screen illuminating their faces with a pale blue light. "Are you guys ready for this?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Jake rolled his eyes. "Please. It's just an old building. The only ghosts here are the ones in your imagination." Sarah adjusted her camera, ensuring it was securely attached to her tripod. "Still, it's creepy. I can already feel the atmosphere." Tyler grinned, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Think of the stories we'll have. We explored the haunted Weatherford Hotel and lived to tell the tale." Liam said nothing, his gaze fixed on the hotel. He could have sworn he saw a shadow move behind one of the windows. The group approached the grand entrance, its double doors hanging slightly ajar. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, they pushed the doors open and stepped inside. The lobby was a shadow of its former self. Dust covered the once marble floors, and the grand staircase that led to the upper floors was shrouded in cobwebs. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and decay. Mia shone her flashlight around the room, the beam catching on fragments of the past, a broken vase here, a frayed curtain there. "Wow, just look at this place. It's like stepping back in time." Jake kicked at a loose floorboard, the sound echoing in the silence. "Probably full of asbestos. We might all die of lung cancer." Sarah ignored him, too captivated by the scene. She set up her camera on the tripod and began taking panoramic shots. "This is incredible. I can already imagine the photo essay." Tyler wandered off toward the ballroom, his footsteps echoing. "Hey, anyone want to dance with a ghost?" Liam stayed close to Mia, his senses heightened. He could have sworn he heard a soft whisper, but when he looked around, the others seemed unaware. The group split up to cover more ground. Mia and Jake headed toward the ballroom, while Sarah and Tyler explored the kitchen. Liam wandered off alone, drawn by a strange sense of familiarity. In the ballroom, Mia's flashlight revealed dust-covered furniture and a grand piano in the corner. The walls were adorned with faded wallpaper, and a massive chandelier hung precariously from the ceiling. Jake kicked at a dust-covered chair, sending particles swirling into the air. "Can you imagine the parties they had here?" Mia asked, her voice hushed. Jake snorted. "More like booze-fueled orgies. The rich were gross even back then." As they moved deeper into the room, Mia noticed a small alcove she hadn't seen before. She ventured inside, her flashlight revealing an old music sheet on a stand. "Look at this. Moonlight Sonata. How cliché." Tyler and Sarah in the kitchen found abandoned pots and pans, some still containing remnants of meals long past. Sarah shuddered as she imagined the once bustling kitchen, now a tomb of forgotten feasts. Tyler made spooky faces at the camera, trying to lighten the mood. Liam, meanwhile, found himself in what appeared to be a small chapel. A dusty altar stood at the front, and rows of pews faced it. He could almost hear the echoes of long-ago ceremonies. As he turned to leave, he caught sight of something in his peripheral vision, a figure standing at the back of the chapel. He froze, his breath catching in his throat. When he turned to look directly, the figure was gone. After reuniting on the ground floor, the group decided to head upstairs. The staircase creaked ominously under their weight. The second floor was much like the first. Empty rooms, broken furniture, and an overwhelming sense of abandonment. But as they reached the third floor, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew colder, and a low hum seemed to emanate from the walls. Mia's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced and twisted. The friends exchanged nervous glances but pressed on, driven by curiosity and the thrill of the unknown. They reached the end of the hallway, where room 309 stood slightly ajar. The door seemed to beckon them, promising secrets and chills. Mia placed a hand on Jake's arm. "You coming?" Jake swallowed hard. "Lead the way." Sarah adjusted her camera, ensuring it was recording. "Whatever happens, we'll catch it on film." Tyler made a joke to lighten the mood, but his laughter echoed hollowly in the silent hallway. "If I disappear, remember I told you so." Liam lingered at the back, his eyes wide with anticipation and fear. He could have sworn he heard whispers growing louder. Inside room 309, the friends were met with an unexpected sight. Unlike the rest of the hotel, the room was surprisingly well preserved. The furniture was intact, covered in white sheets, and the wallpaper, though faded, still clung to the walls. In the center of the room stood a four-poster bed, its canopy drooping slightly. Mia stepped inside, her flashlight beam sweeping the room. "It's like time stood still in here." Jake followed, his skepticism waning in the face of the room's eerie preservation. "How is this possible?" Sarah set up her camera in a corner, hoping to capture any paranormal activity. "This is perfect. The contrast between the decay outside and the preservation in here is incredible." Tyler whistled low. "Almost feels like someone's been keeping it clean. Or something." Liam stood by the door, uneasy. He felt eyes on them, an invisible presence watching from the shadows. As they began to explore the room, strange things started to happen. Flashlights dimmed and flickered. A chill wind seemed to pass through the room, though all the windows were sealed shut. And then, they heard it, a soft, mournful wail that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Laughter followed, light and feminine, echoing through the room. The friends froze, their excitement turning to fear. Jake tried to joke, to lighten the mood, but his voice betrayed him, trembling as he spoke. "Let's go," Mia said firmly, her patience with the situation worn thin. But as they turned to leave, the door to room 309 slammed shut with a resonating boom. Panic set in. They rushed to the door, pounding on it, but it wouldn't budge. They were trapped. The wailing grew louder, joined by other voices, men's voices, harsh and angry. The temperature in the room plummeted. The friends huddled together, their fear palpable. And then, one by one, they began to disappear. First, Jake. He was standing by the window, his flashlight sweeping the room, when a shadow seemed to envelop him. He screamed, a sound that was suddenly cut short. The others turned to see nothing but empty space where he had stood. Next was Sarah, the group's photographer. She was crouched in a corner, frantically trying to capture the events on her camera. A sudden gasp, a muffled cry, and she was gone. The remaining three friends, Mia, Tyler, and Liam, pressed themselves against the wall, tears streaming down their faces. They could hear the spirits now, clear and angry. Voices in multiple languages, demanding justice for wrongs long past. The wailing bride materialized before them, her face a mask of sorrow and rage. She pointed to each of them in turn, and one by one, they vanished. When the police finally arrived at the Weatherford Hotel the next morning, responding to a missing persons report, they found the door to room 309 still sealed shut. Inside, the room was empty, dust undisturbed, as if no one had ever been there. The friends were never seen again. To this day, locals say that on certain nights, you can see 5 shadowy figures in room 309, forever trapped in the hotel's cursed embrace. The Weatherford Hotel stands as a reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, and some stories are better left untold. A year passed, and the Weatherford Hotel remained abandoned, its secrets undisturbed. But on the anniversary of the friends' disappearance, a new group of explorers arrived, drawn by the legend. They were 5 in number, each with their own reasons for seeking out the hotel. As they approached the grand entrance, the same flickering street lamp casting a dim glow, they couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. The hotel stood silently, its windows like dark eyes watching their approach. Inside, the lobby was much as the previous group had left it, dust-covered and decaying. The new explorers split up, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. One of them, a young woman named Emily, felt a strange pull toward room 309. Against the others' advice, she made her way to the 3rd floor. The air grew colder with each step, and the hum from the walls grew louder. She reached room 309, its door slightly ajar, and pushed it open. Inside, the room was exactly as described in the missing persons reports, furniture covered in white sheets, the 4-poster bed standing eerily still. But something was different. On the nightstand, a single rose lay in a vase, its petals a deep, blood red. As Emily reached for the rose, the door slammed shut behind her. The wailing began again, joined by the laughter and angry voices. The spirits of the Weatherford Hotel had claimed another victim. The cycle continues, with the Weatherford Hotel serving as a magnet for the curious and the daring. Each new group that enters room 309 meets the same fate as the last, becoming part of the hotel's eternal tapestry of tragedy. The spirits of the past, forever trapped between worlds, seek new company in their eternal torment. The wailing bride, the angry men, and the countless others who have fallen victim to the hotel's curse, wait patiently for the next unsuspecting souls to join them. And so, the Weatherford Hotel stands as a testament to the unknown, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead is thin and easily crossed. It remains a warning to those who seek thrills without respecting the power of the unknown. For those who listen closely on moonless nights, the whispers of the hotel's victims can still be heard, carrying a message that is both a warning and an invitation. The cycle never ends, and the hotel is always hungry for more.